Thank you for joining us today to this information webinar about the EPSRC Engineering and Physical Science Research Council Doctoral Landscape Award, NetZero Futures with RCA. We will use this webinar to walk you through the RCA NetZero Futures Doctoral Landscape Award. We will talk about the award. We'll explain to you its themes, who it's for, how to apply. You will also hear some information from my colleagues from the research interest areas or the research host area at the college. My name is Hala Mansour. I'm the Royal College of Art Head of Doctoral Programs. So the agenda for today, we will walk you through what is NetZero Futures Award, the strategic vision and purpose of the award, the details of the funding, the duration and eligibility. We will also talk about application process and the timeline. And my colleagues joining me today will cover the research themes and expectations from their areas of research. We will have time for questions and answer at the end. It is your time, please, to ask any question. We will try to answer to most of your questions. If we couldn't, we will add them to the website for NetZero Future. So NetZero Futures Doctoral Landscape Award is a fully funded PhD studentship funded by the EPSRC Engineering Physical Science Research Council in partnership with the Royal College of Art. And its strategic vision brings together multidisciplinary research across the college, focusing also on practice-led, practice-informed research if possible. We also provide and support the award with a cohort-based development training as part of the training program, and we'll talk about training as part of this discussion. The award covers 3 core areas of research: circular economy, ecological digital citizenship, robotics and AI, and my colleagues will talk about their areas of research and the topics and themes they are interested you to address and think about and look at in your research proposals. The award aligns with the EPSRC main research areas for digital futures, net zero and artificial intelligence, and it is also have a very strong link with the strategic research vision and priorities for RCA regarding climate crisis and circular economy and design and AI. Again, we are looking forward working with you in this studentship to support your research areas in a supportive research environment at RCA. We have a very diverse, inclusive research community for doctoral candidates, and we are very much looking forward you being part of this research community at RCA. So the award is provided for full-time and part-time PhD study up to 4 years funding. It's fully funded studentship, covers the tuition fees and the annual stipend. It also covers research and training support funding, which is available for you to use. It also covers opportunities for placements up to 6 months. It's case-by-case evaluation. But again, there is an opportunity for you to work with the industry and to have placements in different organizations. And the award can cover that within the 4 years period of funding. before you prepare your application, please make sure that you meet the RCA research degrees entry requirements. You will find these requirements on the research degrees page at RCA. I think my colleagues will put the link on the chat for the research degrees at RCA. Please read carefully the eligibility and entry requirements. The award is open to UK and international students. You should be resident in the UK for most of your study period. As EPSRC, it is welcoming candidates' applications from different backgrounds, as well as design engineering backgrounds are also welcome. One of the main criteria that we wanted the proposal and your research to focus on real-world impact. Again, have an impact on UK. It's not necessarily the research to be conducted in UK, but has an impact on UK because it is a UKRI fund covering topics related to environmental resilience and waste reduction, resource efficiency, society well-being, and so on. And my colleagues will cover more on the topics that they are looking forward to see from your applications. Please apply through the RCA portal. We don't accept applications via emails. You have to apply via the formal RCA portal. Please specify in your application that you are applying to NetZero Futures. Write this very clearly in your proposal, in your personal statement, so we know that this application for NetZero. The deadline to receive your application is 19th of January 2026. We are looking forward 1,000 words in proposal and personal statement around 500 words. And we will cover some information in this webinar about the expectation of the proposal and the personal statement. At RCA, we are very keen to provide high level of training and development opportunities for all our PhD candidates. So we have doctoral training programs that is running 3 weeks yearly. We have also specific training and subject-specific training in the schools and research centers. We cover training in research method and methodology. We also have a yearly research biennale when students can present their art and design ideas to the public. We cover professional and development training as well about career development, ethics, and other subjects. So the community of doctoral research coming together to every term to meet together and discuss research in an extensive weekly training. So I will actually pass the mic now to the Material Science Research Center and to Bruna to talk about the Material Science Research Center expectation for the application when you prepare it to apply for this award.
Okay, hello everyone. I am Bruna Petreca. I am a reader in Human Experience and Materials here at the Material Science Research Center. I also am joined by my colleague, Professor Sharon Borley, who you can see on screen. She is the director of the center, and she will be here to support me in answering to any questions that arise after all our presentations. So I'll just share my screen. So just as a general overarching context for the Material Science Research Center, we work covering from the invention to experience of materials, and this is always contextualized like these two themes of research within a broader understanding of material system innovation. And our work is really catering for real-world challenges, specifically environmental sustainability, human health and well-being, And that's exactly where our previous project, or actually program of research that we have delivered, was looking at circular economy and the challenges and opportunities that there are in supporting the textile industry to transition to more circular practices. So it was within the context of this program of research that the opportunity to host PhD students has arisen. So in the last 4 years, but a little bit more more time of work went into that program of research. We have led and delivered on this UKRI program of research, UKRI funded, so the UKRI Interdisciplinary Textile Circularity Center. This program was part of a bigger consortium called the NICER program, where there were 5 research centers, such as we were representing the textiles, and there were other themes such as metals or chemicals within that research as well. So this program was helping the UK to create some templates or some new solutions to help the UK to transition to circularity. In our approach, which was very distinctive historically in the textile industry, at least, we have taken a systems perspective. So we worked with solutions that were including from the material circularity, thinking about circular design and fabrication of bio-based textiles to support apparel businesses and consumers to extend the life of apparel and materials, going all the way through the consumer experience. So looking at a well-being framework to design consumer experiences of textile circularity to enable consumers and brands to extend the life of apparel by satiating well-being needs. And all of that was brought together and in demonstrations of how this could be adapted or adopted by industry and society by this circular supply chain work, where we were looking at how these innovations could be mapped in a more complex system with interconnected entities to enable the circular flow of value, information, and materials indeed. Okay, so the way that we were delivering this research was unique as well in our design-led approach. So all the innovation that each of those strands was creating would be brought together in living labs, where we would create highly believable realities and locate our solutions in realistic contexts in the high street, so that we could invite stakeholders, generally from industry, policymakers, and citizens, to participate in not only witnessing these new ideas that we were creating, but actually being part of co-creating these new circular solutions. So this initiative, when we would turn up in the high street, we called this Regenerative Fashion Hub. So this was like a platform for us to immerse the stakeholders in our research, but also, like I said, to be part of developing this pathway for circular economy. So this was a highly impactful activity. We managed to engage more than 1,000 people in these activations, and we had a lot of feedback and direct impact, even in people adopting new behaviors after interacting with our research. So a little bit more detail into each of these trends. So in the material circularity, it was this effort to promote cooperative design for the creation of circular materials and a little bit of like a summary of all the different achievements and outputs that the material circularity strand managed to deliver. So it was really a showcase of how to empower businesses through circular processes. There was a gap in circular practices that would enable circular manufacture. And then by the end of the research, we saw new processes for circular manufacturing, many tools and methods that the team created, a number of publications that I would strongly encourage you to visit the website and have a look just to understand what you can build on as well. But all of them demonstrating how we can turn agricultural waste, post-consumer waste, and the biological fraction of the household waste into biologically recycled textile fibers and materials. So it was a really great advancement in terms of innovating with techniques and processes for both from the biological perspective, material engineering, but also materials design. And then having those materials at hand, we go to the consumer experience. So how do we position those materials, but also position them in a logic of less consumption or circular consumption? So here we were looking at a space where there were no frameworks to help us to design circular experiences that will help people to participate in the materials life cycle. So by the end of our program of research, we created both a new theoretical framework, which is a well-being framework that shows that in order for for the circular material flow, it's equally important that we accommodate people's well-being. So we need to have a coupling between the material flow and people's well-being needs being met. And then we delivered this theory together with a toolkit for designing circular experiences that operationalizes this framework. And through having this designed experiences, we also delivered a number of methods and creative technology tools which will deliver on this framework and toolkit with new experiences that helped people to be more active participants in the circular flow of materials. So one example of such innovations was our modular shirt, which was exhibited in the Tomorrow's Wardrobe, recently concluded in the Design Museum. And also we had a virtual reality experience that was shown at Ars Electronica, which was showing the whole life cycle of this regenerated cellulosic material. Finally, with the circular supply chain, with this concept of social production network, we managed to show how different agents or actors could be connected and empowered to enable local distributed hubs that will enact a circular economy. And again, for all of this research, I strongly recommend referring to the Textile Circularity website to find all of the papers and publications that emerged, as well as our Textile Circularity Center book, which summarizes all of the outputs, which can be very informative to think about how you can map your research and your interests to the theme of circularity.
Thank you. That's very informative. Okay, can I pass it to Rob, please, to introduce yourself and your area of research, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just share this. hopefully you can see the screen. So hi, my name's Dr. Robert Phillips. I'm a reader in Sustainable Futures here at the RCA. And I suppose I want to talk about the origins of this project because it's come from a particular space, and then you'll understand the thinking a bit more. So I am by training an industrial product designer. I've worked on, well, a plethora of everything from Red Bull to mass manufacture to developing materials. And so I think for me, a PhD is an amazing opportunity to start to think about actually how you're changing your career path and how you're shifting, and you're bringing that expertise to it. It's not that you're losing it. It opens up all these immense opportunities. So I'm coming from that background. I'm very aware of how business, design, civics work together. And I'm going to tell a little bit of a story to give context to this, because I'm not established as a centre. I'm the principal investigator of a UKRI Network Plus project, and our colleague Louisa will share some links to some of the website in the chat that please go off and interrogate. So post my PhD, I got used to writing quite a few books. I've just had my latest one, which is about engaging design and how we're looking at realms of post-participatory design. I think that's what's really important. It's not just about co-design. It's how we're working with civics, how we're really trying to unpack what this research space looks like. So a previous project, UKRI funded, God, I look so much younger there, dreadful, was My Nature Watch, which was a DIY trail camera project where we worked with BBC Springwatch to look at the question, what would happen if people could create their own technologies to engage with the natural world? We were blown away at how successful this was. Over 3 years, 3.5 million people engaged with it, different TV channels. Yeah, it formed up so many collection groups. And I think one thing that we're really starting to unpack is actually how what people are doing, how are they making these relationships with digital technologies. And again, everything comes back to the fact that it's benefiting the UK, and the simple sort of, I suppose, equation is that every project has to benefit communities and the planet. How does these things work? By all means, in the links that Louisa is sharing, have a look at our publications and the projects that we've been funding, because I suppose you start to get the essence of our DNA as well. So this project, My Nature Watch, it happened. And I'm going to tell the story of one person. So top left-hand corner, they emailed me and they went, Rob, your camera isn't working. And so we went, right, okay. And so we went to visit them, and we went, well, the reason that it's not working is because wildlife has to pass in front of the camera to then take a picture, and your estate is dead, and there's nothing there. So anyway, this is quite a bit, you know, 4 to 6 years later, people are starting to cultivate that space, and they are now one of the leading rewilding advocates of that estate. And so this is the long tail of research. So that happened, and again, they start to go, right, okay, how are we starting to engage with the natural world? And I got this text on a Sunday evening, and I was like, right, okay, yeah, okay, cheers for that, Rob. BBC Two, right, turned it on, and here it was. Monty Don was having a little chat about the technology that we created and that we deployed in this place, and how it basically, that one element had turned this particular individual into an ecological citizen that was not only rewilding their house and their garden and their place, but their entire estate. And they are now working with the wider groups and the wider planning communities about how we can really think about how we're rewilding estates. Pretty awesome from a research project. So we really believe in how we are enabling people to make change and how we're building with them. And I think that's something that's really important. So our view of Citizen is about what we do. Okay, we're not about judicial waters, we're about how we enable people to perform. And I think that's something that's really important, how you enable everybody from all walks of life. There's quite a lot of nuance in what we're doing as well. So how you are enabling people to have true sustainable intent, which I think is critical. And so this is literally just being published as we speak. We presented it at the World Design Congress. And it's probably the most, if you want to take a screenshot of one thing, take a screenshot of this. So we believe in these first 4 things. So projects must start with sustainable intentions. They're designed with people, not for people. They are meant to benefit wider communities and each other. And they're supposed to have planet neutral and world benefits. If you can do everything else beyond that, amazing. That is amazing. But this stuff is really, really difficult. It's not easy. But that's why it's so interesting, because you have to understand people's motivations, people's patterns. And that's why a PhD is such an amazing opportunity to happen in this space, because quite often in academic careers, you won't get time to work this closely with people. Take that screenshot. So that should be on our outputs and also on our Google Scholars and things like that very soon. But like I said, this is just about to be published. This is what's really, really important. So my daughter spotted this when we were on holiday. She's 9 in Bristol, and she went, "Daddy, you didn't design this museum too?" I was like, "No, darling, I didn't." But it was just a billboard on the side. And I think we're quite altruistic in our perspectives within ecological citizens. We truly believe that actually, if you find the right levers, we can enable a digital sustainable society. It is really difficult. We don't think it's a silver bullet, but we do think it's a really exciting challenge. And sometimes you have to fail in order to find the right ways. I want to share one project that I think is probably the most perfect design project. So a year ago, I had a very random email that I thought was spam. And I was invited by the King of Nepal to go and do some work in Nepal, as you are. And we went to visit this toilet, this public toilet. It's beautiful. So what it is, the public toilet on the left, creates biogas from the digester. That then creates power for the cafe, and then the cafe generates revenue to look after and maintain the building and keep the toilet clean. It's a perfect circular scheme that benefits the planet, the local community. Group's perfect piece of design. And I think these business models and these operations, they're really interesting to unpack. So when you think your project might be quite obscure or kind of like opening up these new perspectives, remember the sort of golden list. Have a look at the EPSRC remit. It must benefit the UK. I believe that ecological citizenship and how that works is benefiting communities and the planet. It's leveraging sustainable technologies, and ideally it's enabling a digital sustainable society. So have a look through our publications at all those remits. Yeah, it's difficult, but how do you start to do that? It starts to become really exciting. So thank you very much for your time. We look forward to any questions, and I hope I haven't asked too much of you.
Thank you very much, Rob. That's very informative. Thank you very much. I think the third area of research that we are looking forward to, your project, is robotics and AI. And Dr. Sina Saleh is not with us today, but again, my colleagues will put the robotics and AI link for the RCA Robotics Laboratory. And if you have a direct question, we can pass it to Sina. But the laboratory is focusing on designing robots that are sustainable across their life cycle, repairable, adaptable, and recyclable. And you can see the research that is happening at the moment at RCA Robotics Laboratory. And the idea is that Sina and his team is looking forward to receive your application through it. So please check our RCA Robotics Laboratory link and make yourself aware of the research is happening, because one of the things that we need you know, your proposal to align with what is happening already with the research areas that we explained at the moment. If you have a direct question to Sina, please. Also, there is an email for NetZero Futures. Feel free to send us any questions through the email, and we'll pass it to Sina. He has access to the email, so he can also see it and reply to you directly. So I would say that we covered the most of what we're trying to cover today. It's a competitive call. Please take your time in preparing a good proposal. The proposal is the main part of the application. Make sure it is a strong proposal in 1,000 words. Make sure the proposal have a clear idea about it. You know, what is the research gap? What are you going to do? What is the aims and objectives of the project? What is the idea that you want to develop within the next 4 years? Make it exciting for the reader to actually move it to the next stage, which is the interview stage, to know you, to know more about the topic from you. So I would say give a good time in preparing a good proposal. We look at every proposal, we read every proposal, and we evaluate every proposal. So the proposal is the starting point of making actually us interested to move you to the next stage, which is the interview stage. And I think the starting point is, as I said, look at what the research happening at RCA, look at the staff profile, our member of staff research in these research areas that we cover today, and make sure that you align your proposal accordingly. The personal statement, Bruna, Sharon, Rob, any tips about what personal statement should look like? Very quickly, if you would. Yeah, Rob, please.
I think be honest. I think it's really important that you speak from the heart. Why are you motivated? Why are you interested in this type of work? You know, you could easily go, I'm sure you're exceptionally talented and you could go and work for a corporate. We want to hear what drives you. We want to hear why you're excited, and that only comes from your heart and your soul. And that sounds quite deep, but I think don't just look at stock answers. If you have struggles, then it's good to be honest and be real, because actually it's a really supportive community about how we collaboratively build opportunities as well. So I think really be honest to yourself. What you don't know is also the reason why you are doing this, which is really important. If you knew everything, why would you do it? So I think, you know, start to unpack why you're interested. And I would just say, yeah, be honest, speak from the heart, and kind of where you think it could take you.
Yeah, it's very good advice. Bruna, please.
Just adding to what Rob said, to suggestion to make it really clear why you are the right person to carry out this research. So what are the skills you bring, and also clearly articulating what would you hope to develop and how that positions you in the next place you want to be. So that will be also really helpful, and also making sure that is a process that helps you to feel like the RCA is the right place for you, and show us that as well.
Thank you very much, Bruna. Sharon, any input here?
Those are all great directions and pointers from Rob and Bruna. And I think it's just what impact do you want to have in the world, and what impact do you want your work to have, and use it as a stepping stone to take you to position you where you want to go professionally, build partnerships, collaborations. Being at the RCA opens lots of doors for you as a student. So it's a great platform from that point of view. So yeah, just use it to build your profile, but really, as Rob said, it's from the heart, thinking about Where do you want it to take you?
Thank you very much. I think we are, as I said, we're evaluating carefully every application, we're reading proposals, personal statements, and we're looking for potential applicants. So again, someone that have the potential to start the PhD and complete the PhD and have an impact from the project. So please spend time to develop you a good proposal. Spend time to read, connect with the literature, connect with the work that is happening at RCA, connect with our researchers' work here. We have the very worldly sound research that you need to read and connect and reflect on it when you're preparing your proposal. So take your time, it's competitive, and we need to see your application. We need to evaluate them, shortlist you to go to the interview stage. Rob, please.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, I think everybody thinks they need to be in a perfect position when they apply, which is a little bit silly. I think you're coming here to learn and grow and expand a skill set. And so I think just be aware of that. You're bringing a skill set, you're bringing that experience. So yeah, please don't doubt yourself. I think just open yourself up, be clear about how you want to develop. And I think that's the interesting thing about the college, is because that growth that's part and the point of doing a PhD, is because it's opening up new opportunities. You don't have to be perfectly formed before you come through the door, quite the opposite. So please be open to that.
Thank you very much. And as I said, please also check the eligibility criteria for applying at RCA, making sure that you apply via our website, a formal website. We don't receive applications via email, so you need to make sure that you understand the process, add all the documentation required for your application. And again, the proposal is very important things to work with. I think we covered most of the information that we wanted to give to you.
Yeah, just coming back to that question about how it benefits the UK, if you have a look at all of, I suppose, our profiles, especially on a public site or on Google Scholar, you'll see a lot of our work can cascade to other countries, or vice versa, but its main foci, because it's UKRI focused, has to understand those, I suppose, diversities and cultures and how that can build. So those things, I think that they're not mutually exclusive, and they can be expanded upon, because naturally, obviously, we all believe here in how we're benefiting society, but there's a nuance there, in that it has to be provable that it is benefiting the UK. Otherwise, when we go through applications, if we can't essentially tick that box or align that box, it moves into ineligible. So just be aware of that.
One point I want you to also make sure that you prepare well for is the interview stage. The interview is an important meeting with your supervisors, hopefully potential supervisors, and the PGR lead, a postgraduate research lead. It is actually an important meeting to make sure that you present your research, but also it evaluates, as Rob say, that your interest and passion about the topic. So it's very important that you prepare well for the interview, if you are shortlisted and you go to the interview stage. Bruna, Sharon, Rob, any tips for interviews for PhD, please? Rob, please, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, remember that your skill set is transferable. So I think don't forget everything that you've learned. I think it's people are, in my experience, MA students, but also what I've seen of PhD students, are far too self-critical about what they don't know, rather than what they do already know, their skills and their expertise and their transferable knowledge. I think talk about your passion, talk about your work ethic, your approach. I think the most important thing is you know, are you coming in learning an open mode so that you're able to collaborate? And I think that for some people that's probably one of the hardest things. And I think, like, is it going to be fun? Is your work going to be interesting? Are we going to enjoy it? Because we're so lucky in this position to be able to help and support and grow this amazing, exciting work. We choose to do this job for a reason, because it's pretty awesome, right? It's pretty amazing. It's pretty inspiring. So kind of bring that passion. And I think, you know, you don't have to be complete. So there might be certain things you struggle with. Like I said, I see the honesty as a good thing, because I mean, I haven't labeled the poster child, but when I applied to the RCA for my MA, I went to a dyslexic lecture. They gave it to us, and I went, I'm all of that, all of your presentation. And so we're really good at learning how to support different students. So kind of just be honest and open about it, because all these things, it's cheesy, but they are superpowers, right? Your way of looking at the world. That's why we want to encourage that passion, is to help and direct. So just be human, bring your passion, bring the things that you're excited about, bring those questions, because that's why we choose to do this job. So I think, you know.
Thank you, Rob. That's very helpful and wise words. There is a question about, if I am not successful in receiving the studentship, may I try to apply again for cohort 3? Yes, please. Yeah, try again in cohort 3. Again, reflect on, you know, all the experience. We definitely have cohort 3 in this call. I couldn't see any more questions. So again, if you have any more questions, could you please email us on the email that Louisa, my colleagues, will add on the chat. Feel free to ask us any questions. We will add some answers to the website as well. Thank you very much.